Hi ladies, it's Stephanie. I'm going to try to do this without too much glare. I've got my lamp on right above my desk because it's horribly dark in here and I'm facing a wall and I have another wall to my right. So I'm in a dark little corner. But anywho, I wanted to share with you what I've been working on today. This was the recessed window card that I recreated using Beata's instructions from Split Coast Stampers. I recreated that, oops, whoa, lots of glare, sorry, this morning, and I messed up on this, so this is my template, so to speak, but the papers, the background paper and the frame paper both came from My Mind's Eye, the Lost and Found stack that I just picked up, this one. And it already had this little flourish and the word beautiful up here at the top. And she does, Beata does a technique called embedded image. And what she'll do is take a piece of cardstock, can be pattern paper like I used here in the background, or it can be plain cardstock, whatever you want to use, and you just ink it up with your Versamark, and then pour clear embossing powder, you heat set, let it cool, and then do another layer, and then you stamp, you use your embossing buddy over it and stamp a black image. I didn't have a silhouette image like what I wanted to use and like what she used. I don't have a stamp that's just a plain bold silhouette. But anyways, you do the stamp and then you do another layer of the Versamark with the clear embossing powder, and it kind of, all of the embossing, the two layers that you put on the back kind of rise up and it embeds that stamped image in there. It's really cool. But like I said, I did not have a silhouette image, so I cut this out from my Cricut using a Child's Year cartridge, and it's on page 77. And it's the shadow feature because I wanted just the plain black silhouette, and I cut them both out, the one with the little wand and then the one with the gift, and I like the one with the wand the best. This is the Tooth Fairy image, and the regular image has all of these little intricate cuts on the wings, and I didn't want that. I just wanted a solid piece, so I went with the shadow cut, and I cut it out, this one at, oops, sorry again, this one at 3 1/4 inches, and the frame in the background is 3 1/2 inches. And then I stamped with StazOn. Of course, after I put the cutout, I did the 2 layers of the clear embossing powder, and then I glued with my Tombow Mono Multi, I glued the image on and then inked it up with my Versamark and put clear embossing powder, and I also sprinkled a little bit of, I have clear holographic embossing powder, and I just sprinkled a little bit of that in the image. And then after the fact, of course, because I seem to work backwards, I decided I wanted some stamping. And where's my stamp set? This came from this right here, and the word dream came from, what is it, this stamp set from Inkadinkado, and here are the images down here, and the name of this one is Simply Flourishes, and I can't remember where I got this. I might have got this, I think I got it at Target. It was on clearance last year, and I really love that stamp set, and stamped that in StazOn. And then I punched out 2 little butterflies with my Martha Stewart punch and used my Viva Decor pen to do some little pearl dots, and use some Prima flowers over here in the corner. But when I went to adhere the sheet that's supposed to cover the back, something went wrong. I can't remember what it was, and I had to lift the paper up again, and it tore right here. And so you really can't see it because, you know, to be honest with you, I did a pretty good job of gluing that back on there. But the word dream was kind of wonky, and, you know, I just wasn't happy with the way it looked, so I just left it alone. You know, you can see I didn't even finish the inside of the card, and I just set it aside and came back and redid it, and I am so happy with how this turned out. I did the same. Actually, I used My Mind's Eye, the Stella and Rose stack for the background paper, and also for the frame paper. And for the word beautiful, I had one of those Michaels wood dollar stamps from last year, and I just stamped that in Stays On Timber Brown. And this time I did all of my stamping. I cut the little girl out on this one at 3 inches, and I had to cut it out twice, and so I just took one of the sets of wings and cut it off and kind of folded it back and glued it underneath her, so you can, I don't know if you'll be able to see that without too much glare. I've got 2 sets of wings on there and just a little bit of dimension to it. And again, the Prima flowers over here in the corner, and this time I stamped the word dream down here in the corner, and I used a different flourish from the same stamp set. It's this one. On the original I used this one, but I like that one better because it has little flowers and little butterflies in there. And I also used the little heart down here at the bottom. And I like this paper that has the text, and it also has this kind of turquoise background image. And I cut the Martha Stewart butterflies again. I used my DCWV. I think this was from last year's spring stack, or was it? No, this was the Mariposa stack, and it had a couple of glitter sheets in it. And I just punched out the Martha Stewart butterflies, and again with the Viva Decor pen, added little pearl dots in there. And the same technique with the Versamark and the clear embossing powder, glued down the little fairy image and then inked the whole thing up with Versamark. After I stamped this time, I got smart and I stamped before I did any embossing, and embossed another layer of clear over the entire image, including both sets of the wings, and it gives a really cool effect. I really like that. I just put some of the Michaels dollar bin bling up here in the corner, and put a little bit of lace trim down here at the bottom. And on the inside I finished it off with one of my new favorite stamp sets. That sentiment, the little border, and the flowers all came from this TPC Studios set. I really like this. I picked this up at Joann's, and this is called Floral Collage, and I really like that stamp set. And then on the inside I just did ivory cardstock and used some scraps left over from the My Mind's Eye paper, and used my Threading Waters punch here and put some of the script paper down here at the bottom. But I'm just so tickled with how this turned out, and I can see lots of potential. I mean, you can do any kind of image, and I really like using the craft plastic, even though it gives you guys watching the video a horrible glare, and I'm sorry for that. But I really like using that craft plastic over the top because it just adds a little bit more to it, makes it seem like a real frame, and it's just really cool. You can do like a birthday image and pop the birthday cake up and do some other things in the background. But I'm really loving this, and I just totally winged it today. I had a lot of trouble because I hate math, I really do, and that's the one thing I don't like about card making is you have to do all these configurations, you know, down to 1/8 of an inch, and especially for something like this, and that's just not me. So what I did was on this one I went kind of backwards again, and I matted ivory cardstock, went around the edge with this color from from Colorbox Petal Point ink things, and put down the paper, and so it's one solid sheet. And I'd already cut out the center sheet, this little background piece, which is 3.5 by 3.5, and so I just laid that on the top and centered it, you know, eyeballed it, totally eyeballed it, and then just traced around it, and then had to get out my ruler, which, you know, I don't like that. But thankfully I have this really cool EK Success ruler that gives you a center point, but it also will take you up from the center line, which is the 1-inch line, and it'll take you up in 1/4-inch increments. So I just cheated and used that and went in 1/4 of an inch to give you that lip that you see down there at the bottom. And it took me 2 hours to do this card yesterday, and this one came out in no time. I just cut around it, did all this stuff, you know, the crisscross cut that you're supposed to do. Watch her video and take notes. That's what I did. And then, you know, once you've made it once or twice, then you can find your groove and just cut it and do everything, you know, to your own measurements to make your own card. Anywho, that is it. I've had so much fun, and I really dread going back to work tomorrow. I wish I could stay home and just play in my craft room. But I can't. I'm not yet independently wealthy. Someday. Anyway, I will chat with you all later. Have fun. Bye.